Hey guys, I'm the Dissatisfied Critic. I've been really busy lately, so I've let these reviews pile up a little bit much, and I'm trying to play catch up today. So I'm gonna be trying to get through a lot of stuff in one video, and I might not touch on everything that I should, and I'll probably go back when I find more time. Right now, I'm really busy with school and getting ready for the police exams and everything. I just can't spare the time right now for my internet peeps. Um, I guess I'm gonna start off with the Sabotuer. It's a sandbox game similar to Grand Theft Auto, but closer to The Godfather, in my opinion. Um, in it, you play an Irishman in occupied Paris, France, occupied by the Nazis in World War II. Basically, what you do is you go around, you blow up buildings, you kill generals, etc., 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 and you fight for the resistance, the French resistance. Um, it's a pretty fun game. I've enjoyed probably I want to say at least 30 hours worth of gameplay, and I haven't even beat the game yet. It's a fairly long game. Don't if you want to try it, I guess rent it. But if you really like sandbox games, then I recommend just buying it and not wasting the money on the rent because it is a really fun game and it's got a lot of features that I really enjoy. There are a few things that I really don't like about it, like they have a climb ability where you climb up the side of a building, like Assassin's Creed. Only in order to do it, you have to tap A, which it gets annoying real fast. I mean, I really wish they would have taken like the Assassin's Creed and made it so you just push up and then you climb up. I mean, that just makes sense to me. Other than that, though, it's a really fun game. I don't, I wouldn't recommend it. If you're a parent going out to buy it for a kid, I wouldn't recommend that at all because there is quite a bit of nudity and sexual themes. Strong language, lots of that, lots of blood, lots of violence. But at the same time, if you are, an adult or someone who's fairly mature, I can't really speak too badly about certain people because I know 16-year-olds that act way more mature than 30-year-olds. But it's a really fun game. I recommend you buy it. It gets a 9 out of 10 for me. It's a really fun game. I guess that's about it for that one. Next, I want to hit on Assassin's Creed 2. No, yeah, Assassin's Creed 2, which I don't own any longer. I beat it, got near 100% completion, didn't bother finishing the feathers. It's a really fun game. It took everything that Assassin's Creed 1 did right and then amplified it, in my opinion. I loved every minute of playing this game. It was amazing. It gets 9.5 out of 10 for me. If you hadn't played the first one, just pick it up. Pick up the second one. I mean, you don't really need the first one to get the story of the second one, I don't think. They can be kind of independent, but at the same time, if you want the deeper backstory, then yeah, get the first one. Because they do relate in some ways, or correlate in some ways. It's a really fun game. I at least recommend a rent on it if you haven't already bought it. I bought it right away because I loved the first one. I can't really say anything bad about it. I can't really think anything that I didn't like except for like maybe the statues and the villa, which if you haven't played it, you'll learn about pretty quick once you get to the villa point. Those were just kind of gay, and the guides I found were just terrible. I mean, maybe if I find some time, I'll do my own guide and actually make a map of the city and mark them where they are, because there was one where it's like, okay, stand in the middle of town and look west, and you'll be able to see it, and you cannot see it from where he said. You cannot, unless you have like binocular vision, which I don't, but I'd actually go and run along the buildings and find it, because it's actually sort of behind another building. You can just barely glimpse it if you're standing in the center of town. The guide's just not detailed enough, I mean, I'll give the guy props for doing the guide, but you got to go into more detail. I mean, I said that to him, and I pointed out where a couple quests were for him and whatever. That's about all I can say about it. It's a 9.5 out of 10. It's a fairly fun game. Next is Army of Two, 40th Day. Personally, I like the feel of the combat a little bit better than Army of Two, the first one. But um, the overall story doesn't feel as compelling to me as the first one. The first one was pretty amazing as far as the compelling story, but the second one's just kind of like, what the fuck is this bullshit about now? You don't really get any insight into the story until you've basically beaten the game. Oh, it's this guy doing something stupid in Shanghai. Whoopie fuck. That's how I feel about the game. I guess I really didn't care for the story. I just kind of liked it for the co-op, but the co-op wasn't even that good. Um, that gets a 7.5 out of 10 for me. It's still a buy, just because it's Army of Two and it's a great co-op game. If you have friends over or whatever, you just take turns playing it. It's good for that. Just ignore the story completely. Just don't even think about the story. The story is completely pointless and stupid, and that's about all I can say about it. So as I said, 7.5 out of 10. Next is Mass Effect, which to me it came off as more of a shooter than the first one, whereas the first one was more kind of an RPG. It still has all like the big talk scenes, which kind of drive me crazy. But at the same time, if they're kind of giving me some insight into the story, I'll sit there and read them all and contemplate my decisions before I say something. But at the same time, most of it just seems kind of stupid, pointless conversations, pointless side missions. I mean, you're going to save the galaxy from the collectors, and you have time to, oh, you want me to go to your place where they kept you and tortured you for years. Okay, yeah, we can do that. We can just make a pit stop here. It's not like there's nothing important going on. Or like, oh, your sister's in trouble. Yeah, we can go save her. Whatever. We can make another pit stop. I mean, it just seems so kind of. It doesn't seem realistic to me. I mean, I get the idea of it. Get the loyalty and trust to your crew members, but at the same time, it doesn't feel real. It just doesn't feel real at all. But still, the game gets a 9.5 out of 10 for me because this is Mass Effect. I mean, this game basically made the 360, the first one, and now they got the second one, which is really fun. It's still really fun. I recommend buying it if you haven't already. This one will probably never leave my collection. I sold the first one. I've regretted it because that was a really fun game and I really enjoyed playing it. That's about all I can say for that. Next is Christian God of War. I mean, Dante's Inferno. Basically, that's what it is. It's Christian God of War, and it's really fun. I mean, if you have a 360 and you like God of War, but you can't afford a PS3, get this. It's a pretty close in comparison. They're from what I've seen, there are less powers, but it's still pretty fun. This gets an 8.5 out of 10 for me. There are some things I don't like how you have no control over the camera. That really irks me in games these days because some of the things they put in place of that is pointless as fuck. Like in this one, you get a dodge with your right stick. Well, why do I need a dodge? Why can't I just double tap to get the dodge or something? Something like that. It's a pretty fun game. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, so at least rent it and give it a try if you don't own it. I personally bought it right away because I thought it was going to be fun. That brings me to Bioshock 2, which I haven't beaten yet, which is surprising for me because I really liked the first one. The first one was pretty freaky for me, but this one seems kind of. It's not as freaky, I guess, as the first one was for me originally. It gets a 9.5 out of 10. It's really fun. It's a must-own for the 360. You gotta have this game for the 360. If you don't have this game, you're not a 360 person at all. You're just a random douchebag. I don't know. I don't really want to reveal anything because this is a fairly new game. I don't want to, spoil it for anyone. I'll get back to it later with a better review once I've beaten it. And I also wanted to, I got the strategy guide for Bioshock 2, which is really handy. If you have this $20 laying around, get it. I mean, you get these maps which show you where everything is, and it's really nice for all you achievement whores who want to find all the audio logs and power to the people things. Get the guide. It makes it a million times easier. I found some which I would never have guessed where they were. But that's all I have time for. I am the dissatisfied critic, and I'll talk to you